So rather than have your money in your wallet or have your money in a bank account, now you have your money tied to your mobile. So in mobile money, your mobile money is very separate from mobile banking. In mobile banking, the money is still in your bank account, but you use your mobile phone for transactions. In mobile money, the money is in an e-account, which is tied only to your mobile phone.
Now, what are the benefits of having,
for a mobile
an e-account?
For mobile money, you can use it to do regular transactions, deposits, person-to-person transfers, pay bills, buy things. So essentially, you can use it the same way you use regular cash or your bank account.
Well, we know that 2 years ago, this service was actually introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria to provide basic financial services and also make payments stress-free, like you mentioned already, especially for Nigerians without bank accounts. Now, what's your assessment of this payment platform?
Well, first I would say that I would commend the CBN. The CBN looked at emerging trends in countries like Kenya, in Afghanistan, and in some countries in Europe, and they figured that since you have just about 30% of Nigerians who are banked and 70% who are unbanked, and you have about 70% of Nigerians who have mobile phones, why not unlock the potential in those mobile phones? Well, so far, I would say that a lot of activity has gone down. CBN has granted, by my last count, 20 licenses, and so far, all the practitioners are doing their best to ensure that these services reach the people they are supposed to reach. However, we see more of hard work than smart work. We see more of them trying to operate the same models rather than looking for models that can work exactly for the man in the streets. So the CBN in May said that so far we've done about 74 billion in mobile money transactions, but we know from our research that you can do a minimum of 12 billion every day. So what we have done so far in 2 years is what we can actually do in 1 week. So so there's a lot of room for improvement.
So what are the challenges of actually mitigated against this trend catching on? Because we know that every average Nigerian, everybody has a phone, and this is supposed to make transactions easy for you. Reducing the amount of time you get to spend in the banking hall. If you have your phone, you can just do your transaction. So why isn't this trend catching on? What are the challenges?
Well, I think the mobile money operators have approached the business wrongly. This business is not so much of a financial thing. It is more of what we can call a consumer product thing. You have people who have challenges. They can't fit into the current banking structure, and you now arrange services that would cater directly to them. Let me make things clearer. For regular banks, you do serious transactions, you do bigger transactions when you want to do things. But for mobile money, you target people who want to do very minimal transactions, 100 naira transactions, 200, 500 naira transactions. So I think that the mobile money practitioners are trying to be substitutes to banks, and they are trying to punch above their weight. They should come lower to those transactions that people would rather do next or rather do in the streets than go walk into a bank.
Well, we have a lot of banks that are actually, floating this e-wallet, a couple of big banks. So it's not like we've seen any increase in the number of people who use the e-wallet. Is this one of the reasons, or is it that we don't have enough? You said we have about 20 operators. Yes. Is this enough? Do we need more operators, or do we need more agents who will go out to market this product, so to speak?
I think as time goes by, we would actually have far less operators. This business is like the telecoms business. You can't have too many operators because the margins are low and the operating expenses are high. What you really need is a situation where these guys create products that are properly tailored to to their customers.
That's the banks.
The banks, the mobile money operator
operators.
License owners. You understand me? They need to create products that would really reach out to people. What we have now is products that are structured around the CBN guideline. If you look at the CBN mobile payments or mobile money guideline, these guys just structure their businesses around it. What really you should do is you go back to the core of the matter, which is the customer. Look for what would favor the customer. There will be some things that don't match the CBN policy when you want to launch products that favor the customer. Then you go back to the CBN and say, this, and this are the hurdles that will prevent us from properly reaching these people. The CBN looks at it, weighs everything, and now produces guidelines that will ensure that the mobile money operators can reach the customers effectively.
But these operators, shouldn't they be liaising with the banks who, basically these people always are comfortable with? They are comfortable with working with their banks. Now, the mobile operator, you're saying, has to do their homework, so to speak. And if they are doing their homework, should they always have to quickly run to liaise with the central bank, or be liaising with the DMBs, that's the deposit money banks themselves, and probably telecoms operators, that's if they come into this picture at all?
Well, the thing is, some of the banks actually have mobile money licenses, so they have it. But the thing, what I'm trying to say is this: when you want to offer services, go identify your customers. We've identified that you go to the bottom spectrum. Provide services that would directly benefit them, that they would directly see utility in. I think that the utility quotient for their current services is quite low.
So what can be done to improve it? What can
be done is, first things first, for mobile money to succeed, even in Kenya, the first way it's going to succeed is through transfers. People transferring money to each other. But there are some transactions you want to do that are so small where you don't want to go to a bank, or it will be too hectic to go to a bank. You do those transactions by the street side. The more you do those transactions, the more you see that, okay, this platform is working.
But Tobina, we've always had this issue of trust, and then we've also had challenges as regards security and fraud, which is actually on the rise, although banks are trying as much as possible to plug those leaks. A lot of people might not have heard about e-wallet. Sometimes you get an SMS telling you about it, that you can make your payments and do transactions using your phone. But they look at it like it's as a scam. Has there been enough education in terms of trying to educate the banks? Because even among the banks, the people who are supposed to understand what this e-wallet is all about, on a percentage of between 10 and 50, only about 15% are using this service. The other people, the other percentage, are not totally interested in it. Now the central bank is saying that they want to use this service to target the unbanked, mostly people in the rural area. So is enough being done to educate the people in the rural area that they can harness the service to conduct their transactions and make the business of doing the process of doing business easy? Well,
the way I would look at it is this: if someone has a problem and you're offering a solution, he's somewhat inclined to give you a trial. What I think the operators should do is develop products that will tackle direct problems. Once you develop those products, people say, okay, so you can solve that problem. And you see, to go to your question on about trust, a lot of these licenses were granted to banks, and I feel that a lot of these banks are trusted names. So when a bank that has been granted a license saying we have a mobile money product, there is the incentive for people to trust them.
What about educating the populace on what this service is really all about?
Well,
has there been enough, education on it?
Around the time when the licenses were granted and when mobile money operators started their operations, a lot of them were doing a lot of marketing. You saw a lot of publicity. But I think because the business didn't pick up as fast as they expected, a lot of them have slowed down in their marketing efforts. And it goes back to creating the right product. If you create the right product, there will be network effects. You see more people using the service, and there will be more incentives to keep marketing and keep marketing.
Well, there have been complaints of high charges with the use of electronic payment platform. What are the charges like for mobile money?
Well, the thing about charges is, interestingly, you can charge more when you do smaller transactions. For example, if you do a 100 naira transaction, you can charge 10 naira, which is 10%, which is high. But people can waive that. But when you're doing bigger, 100,000 naira transaction, can you charge 10,000? Definitely not. So it goes back to, if you develop a good product, people would pay. If you're going to ease the problem of someone who wants to send money from Abia State to Jigawa State, a small amount, he would pay. So I think it's more of developing the right products than looking at charges. And you can be creative with charges. We can charge flat, like what CBN is trying to do with ATMs, where you charge the flat rates maybe you charge 100 naira per annum. You can charge a certain small token maybe per month or per annum, But by the time you have maybe 10 million or 20 million customers, we see the multiplier effect of that. So charges are not really a problem. Once people